This is That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. I am him, JIG. Subscribe, rate, or review Amazon, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Check us out. And don't forget about the Instagram at That Guy Jig. Check out the YouTube at Jigsaw Jimmy. Week 3 fantasy football. I know last week was Don't Panic, but listen, here's the fucking thing. We must not panic, but we have to be aware. We have to be aware. The injuries are mounting up, folks. It's just that simple. If you drafted in fantasy football, you have someone injured. And honestly, this has been one of the more injury-riddled years that I can remember. Can we blame it on the lack of a preseason? Can we blame it on the lack of contact? Can we blame it on just the lack of training on the offseason? Maybe it's all of these things. Maybe it's just a part of the game. But the one thing it is doing is fucking up my game. See, I got leagues that I'm 0-2 in. I got leagues that I'm 2-0. I got leagues that I'm 1-1. I got leagues, folks. That's what I'm telling you. And you have leagues too, and that's why you're here. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review. Tell a friend and tell a friend. But we're talking fantasy football right now. And I'm here to tell you, though it looks real scarce, there's gold in those hills. And we'll find them together because we have to. We do not give up in week 3. This is a long road to the playoffs, folks. I mean, I can't even describe to you how much of a change, either for good or for worse, your team is going to go through. It's like puberty. Your team is going to start going through puberty. And when you go through puberty, sometimes you add things and sometimes you lose things. And that's what your team will be. But you must not panic, but you must be aware. And what I mean by that is, we're not going to go out there and trade Christian McCaffrey for a sack of nickels. We're not going to trade away our number 1 picks because they're out. We're not going to go out there and make trades for people because we have people out. We are going to stand strong, persevere, and not fire until we see the whites of their eyes. That's what we will do. And that's what we have to do. Because this game that we are playing is not for the faint of heart. This is for the strong, thick-skinned, the calloused up hands. This is for you. And that's what you must do. You're no longer in this fairy tale shit. It just got real. And that's what I tell people. When you draft, that's just one thing. That's just one part of fantasy football. And if you want me to be honest with you, it's not that big of a deal. Yes, your draft is key. Don't get me wrong. The draft is key. But the draft does not win your league. What wins your league is your waiver wire and your trade-making ability and you're just week-to-week decision-making. So do not panic. Do not panic. I know Cooper Kupp's out. Listen, I know he's out, but there's people to replace Cooper Kupp. There's people out there. The NFL is not college football. Yes, there will be a steep drop off. I'm not saying that the guys that are replace Cooper Kupp for the next couple of weeks are any type of world beaters. But Tyler Johnson is a speedster. He's a speedster. Demarcus Robinson, the receiver, they signed him. They gave him some more money. Colby Parkinson, the tight end, he's going to be more involved. Blake Corum, he's going to be more involved. Kyron Williams is going to be way more heavily involved and probably getting pulled off a punt return. But listen, Blake Corum's a guy that I see getting more involved because with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua out, your 2 top receivers, what do you have to do more? You have to run the ball more. Well, you can't give Kyron Williams 30 carries a game. That's not today's NFL, and he's not that type of running back. I'm not for sure if those type of running backs even exist to where you give him 30, 35 carries anymore. Maybe 35 touches. Maybe. And that's a fucking maybe. I feel stupid saying that. But that's what the Rams are looking like. So that's why I see Blake Corum getting more touches. Blake Corum getting in the game. But there's gold, folks. There's no point of out here selling yourself for cheap. Just hold the fucking line. Christian McCaffrey will be back week 6, week 7. These guys will be back week 5. There's guys out there that we can supplement and get the same and try to get some type of point production. We're never gonna get the same, but we can try to get in there. And that's what this episode. Listen, we must stay aware. Okay? We can't panic. We can't just start fucking just burning the files. We are aware, but we are not panicking. Because week 3 starts Thursday. We have a shit fest. We have the Patriots and the Jets. And listen, I'm pretty good. I think that's one thing we can agree on. We are on par with these games as far as scoring. This Jets and Patriots game is not going to be a high score. It's going to be a Breece Hall. It's going to be a Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, Garrett Wilson, those type of guys. The main characters are going to be involved. Thursday night football is for the main characters because it's a short week and you can't go too deep in your bag. If a guy can get loose behind the secondary a couple times, good, great. But how many times does that happen? So Thursday night football, Patriots and the Jets. Listen, guys, we got to just take it easy. Because at this point in time, this game looks like shit. Over-unders are at 39, so so the books are not expecting points. Like I said, the usual suspects for this game. Now we're on to Sunday. This is where the money's made. Okay? Sunday, we got the Steelers and Chargers. That's going to be a solid game. They're going to run the ball. J.K. Dobbins, if you drafted him, you are loving it. He's been a godsend. J.K. Dobbins and the Chargers are running that pill. Quentin Johnston, if you can get your hands on him, maybe he is the number 1 receiver. He came through with 2 tuds last week. So maybe he's starting to turn that leaf. Ladd McConkey, you know what you're going to get out of him. The Steelers with Justin Fields now, it's a hybrid offense. They're running the ball, but they're also letting him dink and dunk, and he knows how to get the ball to George Pickens. I'm telling you, the Bears and the Carolina Panthers are probably the 2 worst organizations in the NFL right now. And I'll go into depth in that a little bit later after we break down these matchups. But the Texans and Vikings, this is going to be a good one, possibly a high scoring. Justin Jefferson is supposedly better than expected. They thought it was a lot more serious than what it is. I kind of felt like when I saw the injury, you don't put him back in. You definitely don't put him back in. It's not that big of a game. And honestly, what are we playing for in Minnesota? Are we playing for a playoff berth? Or are we playing for, you know what I mean? Because you really don't know how long Sam Darnold can keep up this good of play. If he keeps up this good of play all year, then yeah, go for it. We might as well go for it because JJ will be back next year. So you have your quarterback. You're not really tanking for picks. Maybe the Vikings are going all in. I like what I've seen from them. From the Texans, you got to love what you've seen from them. We don't know about Joe Mixon. Hip drop tackle. That's why that tackle's bullshit. That hip drop tackle was bullshit. And that's another player that got injured and we don't know about. He's supposed to be getting reevaluated. We'll see. I think he plays, but I don't think he gets his full workload. Saints and Eagles. Eagles got to bounce back like Viagra. Ugly loss. The Eagles have not looked good the first 2 weeks. And I've been the main one saying it's the preseason. They don't play the preseason. Got to give them time. Well, motherfucker, the time is running out. A.J. Brown is out. Devonta Smith is doing his thing. Saquon dropping balls on 3rd down. Jalen Hurts, he's been kind of that's what you can't have. We paid you to be great. Derek Carr in this offense has scored on every possession. Alvin Kamara just went nuts. He went absolute nutty on the Cowboys in their home stadium. This offense is looking potent. Rashid Shaheed is the threat you need. If you can get your hands on him, please get your hands on him. The guy takes the top off the defense. He's really fast. Chris Olave hasn't even started to drop his pants yet. So, this Saints offense could really be dangerous. And we know the Eagles defense is not that good. Play Saints players. Play Saints players. Taysom Hill might be out. So other people are going to get more touches. I think Juwan Johnson, Juwan Johnson, the tight end. I like the cut of his jib. I think he's going to be all right. But this game right here, the Eagles are the underdog. The Eagles are the underdog coming in at plus 125. That wouldn't be a bad money line to pound on Sunday. But overall, for fantasy football, everybody's in play. Dallas Goedert, you fucked me on the first touchdown. You better get a touchdown this week. Get Dallas, just from me to you, you got to start boxing out, bud. Back in the day, I feel like you used to be a little bit more aggressive. I need you more aggressive in the red zone. Boxing the fuck out and getting the ball. Moving on. Broncos and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers players are up. They are up. I told you Chris Godwin was going to be a steal for you if you got him this year because he's in the slot, and I did not lie to you. He's going to keep producing. Mike Evans will have a bounce-back game, although he is going against Patrick Surtain. So keep that in mind. Mike Evans will be going up against Patrick Surtain, but I do think Mike Evans will be able to get a tud. I do think he gets in the paint. I do think he gets in the paint this week. I think he gets back in it. Packers and the Titans. Malik Willis is going back to Tennessee. Now, this is a storyline we didn't think we were going to get in the NFL. Malik Willis's return to Tennessee. This is literally like an AMC thriller. So, not even AMC, man. This might be like, yeah, it's definitely AMC. Let's just go with AMC. This is a terrible one. All right? If you got players in here, other than the running backs, maybe Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's been getting loose. All right, you're cool. You're cool. Everybody's in play. But the kickers. I like the kickers in this game. Giants and Browns. The Giants are terrible. They're absolutely terrible. But Daniel Jones showed us some gold. He showed us gold in the name of Malik Neighbors. Wan'Dale Robinson's another guy you can get in on that offense. The running back situation is kind of shaky because you don't know how long they can stay in these games. That's the whole thing about the Giants. How long are you able to stay in the game? Because sometimes they get behind in the script. You cannot run the ball anymore. You can't run the ball. You have to air it out, and that's when the Giants are at their worst. When Daniel Jones has 100%, it's all on you. This ship is going to crash, folks. Jump off now. Bears and Colts. Anthony Richardson sometimes, this is why I'm so low on him. Because you just don't know what you're going to get because he's such an athlete playing quarterback. You know what I mean? He's not a quarterback playing he is, but he's athletic as shit. And they haven't really honed in his skills yet. So when you go to Green Bay and you look at that game, 2 picks. You can't have that. Giving the ball away in the red zone. Not scoring in the red zone. Anthony Richardson has to be better. He has to be better. He has enough weapons around him. There's really no excuse for him not to be better. It's just that simple. The Bears, Caleb Williams is going through some growing pains. But also, like I said earlier, the Bears are a shitbag organization. They're terrible. That O-line is still bad. If you're watching this game, you're watching Caleb Williams scramble around and then try to find somebody. That offensive line is bad. And that's the same offensive line that Justin Fields was supposed to be successful under. You can go get as many skill positions as you want. You can go get all the best players that you want. If your offensive line is dog shit, it doesn't matter. Who is protecting them? Who are they running behind? That's my point. That O-line is terrible. It has not been improved. The Jets went out and tried to improve their O-line. Not worked so far, but it's still early. Still early for the Bears. But so far, that's what I'm saying. We can't just throw Justin Fields under the bus when we're looking at this same bus being driven off the road. It's crazy. Panthers and Raiders. No Bryce Young. Another shitbag organization that once again You play them in no preseason. You bring in all new coaches, and you give them 2 games. And then you bench them. That organization needs to be studied. They absolutely need to be studied. The Raiders are doing something that I don't think people expected. This team is an actual team. Gardner Minshew, it looks like he's going to lead this offense. That defense looks very solid. I think the Raiders will be a lot better than what people think. I'm not saying they're going to be world beaters. I'm not saying they're going to win the division. I'm saying they might win a few more games than what people might have thought they would win. The Dolphins and the Seahawks, we have no Tua. We have no Tua here, folks. All we have is a hope and a prayer that the quarterback for the Dolphins can be competent enough to get Tyreek and Jalen Waddle the fucking ball. I'm seeing a lot of screens. I'm seeing a lot of reverses, a lot of jet sweeps. I'm seeing a whole new if Skylar Thomas is the starting quarterback, they are going to run an offense similar to Kansas State as far as run to pass ratio. They're not going to be putting the ball in the air that many times. If they do, I'll be surprised. If they're taking shots, I'll be very surprised. Unless the script changes. That's what I'm saying. If the script gets to where it's a passing game, I don't like the Dolphins' chances. But I don't think the Dolphins are going to allow that. I think A-Chain, the running backs get involved. I think Tyreek Hill hits the backfield. I just think you see them get the ball into the athlete's hands as fast as possible. And sometimes that doesn't mean going down the field. The Seahawks, Geno, Jackson Smith-Njigba, DK Metcalf. It looks like we might be seeing the end of Tyler Lockett, folks. And if you've been playing fantasy football for long enough, you know how good Tyler Lockett has been for how long. And I'm not saying he's completely done, but I am saying we are watching the sun set on his time here. And it's time for Jackson Smith-Njigba to rise as the new king. And that's just as simple as it gets. But for that game, I like everybody. Hopefully Kenneth Walker's back. Because, that's another guy that's on that injury report for the year. And that's just another guy you just can't afford to lose. Some people in the world have Christian McCaffrey and Kenneth Walker out. And they are literally just fucking swimming in shit. And they're trying to breathe. And Kenneth, if you somehow hear this, I need you, bud. I need you now. But everybody's in play for that game. Ravens and Cowboys. Cowboys have to bounce back. Ravens have to bounce back. Ravens have not won a game. Everyone's in play. Everyone's in play. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Zeke. Everybody, if they have stats, they're available. This game is going to get kind of high scoring. I don't think this is a low-scoring one. I think this is a 20, 25 points each, that type of game. Each team is going to be in the 20s. Each team can afford to lose. Each team is tired of losing. We know Lamar Jackson's record versus the NFC is pretty solid, so I can see this game going in a favorable way for the Ravens. But overall, if we're talking fantasy, play everybody. Everybody's in play. Neither one of these defenses are proving shit to me, honestly. And it's early in the season. Mistakes are going to happen. Lions and Cardinals. Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr. are saving lives and feeding families tonight. James Conner in the play. St. Brown came back. Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, you know what you're going to do. Jameson Williams. We're looking for Sam Laporta. Maybe Sam Laporta shows up on Sunday. Him and Travis Kelce have been pretty fucking absent this year, and that's okay. That's okay. For them. But for us, it's not. So hopefully they bounce back this week. This Cardinals and Lions game is going to be up there. The Cardinals can put up points. The Lions can put up points. The Lions is coming off that loss. Cardinals coming off a win. This is a conference game, so it means a little something. So I like this game for people. I like if Khalif Raymond could get behind the secondary, Greg Dortch could get back up in there. We'll see. 49ers and Rams, this game has quickly turned into nothing. A game that had so much potential early in the year with the Rams injuries, with everything that's going on. Like I said, Blake Corum, if you can get your hands on Blake Corum, do it now. because he's going to be a factor in this offense. The 49ers, Deebo Samuels is out. Brandon Ayuk, you got to start catching the ball, bud. You can't sit out all summer, all training camp, get more money, and then stop catching the ball. That is not how this business works. No Christian McCaffrey. Mason's going to get the bulk of the carries. George Kittle. It's going to be an interesting game. This game could be a lot closer than what people think, but as far as overall, because both teams are hurt. Both teams are definitely hurt. So this is going to be one of those games where you just try to really get through it with no more injuries. But for fantasy aspects, like I said earlier, Tyler Johnson, Demarcus Robinson look to be the ones to step up. Tutu Atwell. Ricky Paracel, I don't know when he's supposed to be back. He got shot. So I don't really know when he's supposed to be back. But if he comes back anything like last year, somebody got shot and he went crazy, Brian Robinson. So maybe we should pick him up because, getting shot gives you superpowers. I don't know. Sunday night, Chiefs-Falcons. Everyone's in play again. The Chiefs' defense is not as good as we thought. They gave up some points to the Bengals, and the Bengals' offense is not that good because they are hurt. They are injured. They don't have everybody there. So I expect Kirk Cousins in this Falcons offense that has found their footing, that has found their wings. They look like they're all right now. I think they're going to give the Chiefs a run for their money. Patrick Mahomes and these guys, Travis Kelce, you got to get going for us, bud. I don't know if it's the cut or the stash or it's the broad, bud. We need you, dog. We really need you. This is crazy. This is really crazy, bro. If you and Pat are beefing, bro, I need y'all to bury this fucking hatchet. All right? We got locker rooms that are depending on you two. And now we got the double headers on Monday night, which is pretty cool. We got the 0-2 Jaguars versus the 2-0 Bills in Buffalo. Going to be a solid game. Everybody's in play. Now, we know, I've told you this already, but I'm going to tell you again. Joe Brady wants to run the ball. That's what he wants to do. Josh Allen is better when they run the ball. When Josh Allen isn't out there throwing the ball 30 to 40 times a game, they are so much more better. They're so much more gooder. They're a solid football team because they play complementary ball to their defense. And that's what's key. So in this game, James Cook is going to have a tough one because the Jaguars are going to be able to key on this run game. I like the receivers, though. I like Shakir. I like Keon Coleman. I like him in this game. He might get his first TUD on Monday Night Football. Mark it. That game's going to be all right. Trevor Lawrence, we need you to figure it the fuck out. You got weapons. This is a team that they're so injury prone. And that's what's kind of bad. But if they can be healthy somewhat, the injury report for Monday Night Football comes out on Friday, so we'll be able to see then. Follow the Instagram, That Guy Jig, and while you're at it, subscribe. If you're still listening, subscribe. You've made it all the way to the end of the damn episode. You got to subscribe, right? The Bengals and the Commanders wrap up Monday Night Football. The Bengals are 0-2. They should be 1-2 after this game. If not, they're probably going to be talking about a new coach. You can't go 0-3. Jamar Chase has to have a big bounce back game. He kind of cost them this last game. 3 tuds. Mark it. Mark it down. 3 tuds. And before we end this episode, I'm going to go on my rant. The Bears and the Panthers organization are completely terrible. When Mike Tomlin went on that show this summer and he said, as a coach, your job is to coach. Your job isn't to go out there and handpick your roster and get this guy moved away and do this and do that. He was talking about Matt Eberflus. That's what he was talking about. How the Bears just threw Justin Fields away, threw him in there to the Wolves, did not protect him, did not teach him, did not coach him, did not do anything. I'm telling you, Justin Fields could be a solid quarterback in the NFL with some coaching. He just needs some coaching. Somebody needs to coach the guy up. And the Bears didn't want to do that. The Bears wanted just to say, nah, you know what? We're going to go get Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams is going through the same exact shit that Justin Fields went through. So who is it? You can't just keep breaking up with chicks and then, it's her. Eventually, bud, I got to come to you as your friend and say, hey, dog, it might be you. I'll never say this in front of them, but as your brother, as your comrade, hey, brother, it might be on you. And that's what we're looking at with the Bears. That's what the Panthers. Look at what they gave away. Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore. They gave away first-round draft picks for 2 years, second-round draft picks for Bryce Young. Listen, dude, I'm not saying Bryce Young is terrible. I'm not saying that. The guy might be good. But you gave away all that for one player. And he's had 2 coaches in his 2 years in the NFL. 2 different offensive coordinators. And then you bench him. Shattered the guy's confidence. That's where we're at in the NFL. That's why there's players like Tom Brady, the GOAT, who says it's sad that we're dumbing down the game of football. It is. It's truly sad. I don't think people truly understand how sophisticated of a game football once was. You have to know the ins and outs of the game. Nowadays, you don't. I never thought I would get to the day where I see people practicing off-platform throws, where they're practicing jumping and throwing. They're getting praised for that. Back when I was watching ball, I never saw a quarterback do that. I got pretty close to the game, folks, and I never saw a quarterback do it. Listen, the jump pass from Florida was so dynamic because he jumped. He jumped and threw the ball. Nowadays, that's damn near, you need it. You have to be able to do that. Can you throw sidearm? Can you change the trajectory of your arm for the throw? Now that's cool. Now that's futuristic shit you can get behind. But when we start dumbing down the game, when we start teaching quarterbacks, hey, you don't need to learn how to slide because they can't hit you. That's a fucking problem. As a quarterback, you need to know how to slide. That is 101. That is the beginning. Learn how to slide to prolong your career. That's why we teach QBs to slide. So they get more mileage on their car. Tua's career has been cut short because he doesn't know how to fucking slide. And that's the game. We don't teach that anymore because you're not allowed to do it. We don't teach wide receivers how to protect themselves because you're not allowed to get hit. Running backs can't lower their shoulders damn near because that's engaging and enforcing contact. You are starting the contact. You are initiating the contact with your helmet. That is an illegal play. What about lowering the shoulder? We can't lower the shoulder anymore because defensive players are coming in there with their heads down because they don't know how to fucking tackle. That is my point. Think about that. You can no longer run someone over, damn near, without a flag coming out. It's a terrible game. Where the game is going is getting more dangerous. And this is why the old players are very much critiquing it, because we're dumbing it down, but the players are not getting dumber. The players are getting more and more athletic and faster. But at any rate, I appreciate you for that. And I appreciate you for subscribing. So tell a friend to tell a friend, and that way we can all be friends. Remember, I'll be dropping the anytime touchdown scores on the Instagram. Those come out on Saturday. The college football picks come out on Friday. Make sure you tune in to the Instagram at That Guy Jig. Subscribe to the podcast, That Guy Jig Sports Podcast. And I am him, JIG. Thanks for listening. Peace.